So my name is Jeroen Coenders. I will be chairing this session. You might have expected somebody else to be here as well, which is Marc, but we replaced him by some of our technical specialists, which we will introduce in a minute. Yeah, you have already noticed that I'm speaking English. I hope this is not a problem. Some of our specialists are international people, so their Dutch is somewhat limited. But if you need any translations, then just ask. And then I will translate. Wat ik voor degene die misschien hun Engels minder goed is, als jullie vertalingen nodig hebben, we spreken in het Engels tijdens deze sessie, dan laat het even weten, dan zal ik vertalen. Het andere wat we graag willen op aan willen sturen is dat jullie vooral veel vragen stellen. En als jullie iets willen discussiëren, laat het weten. We houden de chat in de gaten. En dan als jullie daar je vragen typen, dan gaan we daarop in. En anders houden we sowieso een klein beetje tijd aan het einde van de sessie om vragen te stellen. Okay, I'm going to switch back to English now, so that everybody can follow. By the way, we're waiting for our fourth panel person, but she is having a little bit of trouble with her sound and audio, and if it doesn't work, I guess that we will step in for her at some point. So this session will be about the possibilities of parametric.
You're muted suddenly. Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but it says that I was muted by the moderator, so I'm not sure who the moderator, but somebody was muting me. So please don't do that, because that means that you cannot hear me anymore. So I was saying that we're going to talk about parametric property development and parametric real estate, and we will take you through some of the the visions behind this, but also some of the possibilities. So on the panel we have Annetta and Ankur, and Nicoletta will be joining us soon. So perhaps we'll just start with Annetta. Can you please maybe introduce yourself in a short way?
Of course. Hi, I'm Annetta Świeżak. I'm a parametric specialist at White Lioness. I have a background in architecture. I used to work in architectural offices in the Netherlands and in Poland. And now at White Lioness, I'm involved in projects regarding building physics.
Thank you, Ankur.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ankur. I'm a computational designer at White Lioness. We provide software solutions for different clients. And before that, I was working in facade technology in Hong Kong. But now I'm full-time participating with White Lioness.
Okay, I hope that Nicoletta is already in. Is she already able to speak or not yet? No, not yet. Okay, then I guess that I'll be introducing Nicoletta for her, but let's hope that she can also participate at some point. Otherwise, well, we'll just replace her. So Nicoletta is also one of our parametric specialists. She has a background in architecture. She's an architect by training. We see her. Do we hear her as well?
Hear me though.
Yes, you can do your own introduction now.
Great, thank you very much.
Don't touch anything.
No, I will not. So yeah, so it's introduction time, right?
Yep.
My name is Nicoletta, and I'm a parametric specialist and software developer at White Lioness Technologies. My background is in architectural engineering, and I also have a master's in building technology from TU Delft.
Great, thanks a lot for that. Oh yeah, so probably I should introduce myself, of course, also, shouldn't forget about that. So my name is Jeroen Coenders. I'm one of the two founders of White Lioness. Yeah, so I used to work for Arab. I think I was one of the first engineers that started programming buildings almost 20 years ago. And I've been responsible for projects like Arnhem Station, very special project. But yeah, recently, recently 7 years ago, we started White Lioness, and so I'm now a software developer these days. I'm just going to introduce you also very briefly to White Lioness. I hope you can see my screen. So this is actually what White Lioness is. Well, it's actually a part, because this was before the Corona crisis, when we could. It actually was I think during the Corona crisis, but during the summer, so we could still meet. And I think the company is now almost it's not double the size, but at least there's a lot more people. So we're fast growing company at 36 people, and we're about 7 years old. Today we'll be showing a lot of kind of real estate solutions, but we also do a lot of work in other industries. So we, for instance, have been responsible, for instance, for generating perfect fitting glasses on your face, and all kinds of other custom solutions for all kinds of problems, let's say. Just to introduce our platform. So basically, the easiest way to understand what we are doing is that we are an app store. So we are an app store actually for buildings and knowledge, or other types of objects, I would say. And so you can basically model your own building and then offer it through a kind of an app store. And this idea of having an app store available, that's something we would like to explore, but then related to property development and real estate in this session today. Maybe it's interesting to know what you can offer in such an app store. So that could be products. So and products could be entire buildings, right? Or objects. It could be infrastructure objects as well, to almost any scale. That could be digital services like calculations, right? Or building code checks or something like that. It could also be, for instance, data or software. So we actually collaborated in a whole ecosystem with many different parties around software and these kind of things. And you can use this platform to build your own solutions. And those solutions could have many shapes. So you could build, let's say, configurators of buildings with it, or also of individual products, or maybe do data analysis or these kind of things, because basically it's kind of like digital Legos. Okay, that's, I guess, enough about our platform. Let's switch to parametric property development, because what does this mean? So parametric, first of all, means that there's parameters that you can influence, right? So you can change the parameters, a bit like an Excel sheet, right? So you change the numbers on an Excel sheet, and then automatically the computer calculates all the dependent information that you put in. And that means that you can explore all kinds of alternatives, scenarios in a very, very fast way. So this is also what we are doing, but then not with an Excel sheet, but then with tools that also have, let's say, a visual output, but they can also interact with, like, building information modeling systems or production systems. And basically you can build your own type of solutions that way. So we are going to explore this parametric property development in 3 parts. The first part will be a little bit about kind of the urban scale, so the scale when we are developing like an area. The idea is then, of course, that you could perhaps from an app store start placing buildings, let's say, on a map, one by one, to basically build your plan as a property development. The second part will be about that you can analyze these things and get value from this. And then third, you could actually on the individual building scale also start exploring those individual buildings. Well, of course, in property development, it's important that we also take care to the relationship to the environment, so its surroundings, right, of the plan. So that's also something we will take into account. I think maybe the final thing to mention before we really start showing you things is that, of course, this way we could start creating smarter buildings, right? Because we're going to build buildings like products, right? Or concepts, or whatever you want to call them. So a building will no longer be a project that every time we're going to reinvent the wheel with, but we are going to build them like products. And every time you iterate or you build a new one, it's a new iteration of, let's say, the same product model. But it doesn't have to be a standard product. They could be different every time, but the knowledge that is, let's say, encoded in this project, that can be made smarter and smarter a little bit every iteration. A little bit like like how the iPhone is developing, right? So like I think we're at iPhone 12 or something like that these days. So every iteration is a little bit smarter, contains smarter knowledge. Well, that's something we'll start doing for buildings as well. So we're going to start with a little video, and Nicoletta is going to tell us a little bit about this. So I'm going to see if I can get this started. I need to copy a link and then put it here in the system, and then hopefully we will see it all. By the way, note that this will not be visible in the what do you call this, the recording. So this is an extra treat. If you show up in the session, then you can see it, the videos, and otherwise you just run out of luck. Unfortunately, now my system is not really collaborating, probably because I haven't got a space to fit many. Yeah, so I hope that now the video is visible. Nicoletta, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Jeroen. So we're starting with an urban area on the map. And in this area, we have one or several plots that we're interested in. For example, in this case, we have 4. And then we can start selecting the plots and placing buildings in them. And then we can modify the parameters of these buildings. These parameters could be things like construction inputs, such as the facade material, or it could be the plot coverage, as we're showing here, or it could be the height of the buildings, which could be dependent on the number of stories. And the exciting thing about this is that we can immediately create and visualize an assessment, not only of the individual buildings, but also of the whole project. So we can have an overview of the effect that our input selection has on the project data.
Yeah, so this is really great. So I hope that you all got to see the video well. So maybe a question to you. We're going to play a little bit of a question and answer game here, so where I get to ask the question. So Nicoletta, we see an area, right, and we see buildings, and you can in a parametric way kind of influence those buildings. So could you maybe tell us a little bit about, could this be just like, are these like volumes, or could they also be really detailed? Because we see volumes, of course.
Yes, of course. So for the purposes of this demonstration, we have simple volumes, very simplified models of buildings, but we could actually on our platform have fully fledged building concepts. We are, for example, now working on solutions that are focusing on a process that starts with the urban scale, but can reach a stage where we can actually export even a BIM model if we wish to do that, like an IFC with full details about it.
Okay, so this would be really a way to develop full buildings in the future, I guess.
Yeah, I'm quite optimistic about it. Yeah, because this basically parametric design, we can focus on several different phases of the design and transfer the data from one stage to another. So, and maybe another question that I'm probably surprising you with, because we didn't prepare it. But let's say I see all kinds of cost data, the cost and turnover. I think for individual buildings even. So is this like real numbers? Or could those be real numbers? Are they coming from a database? What's behind that? Yeah, so in this case, it's dummy numbers, but you could incorporate in your solution on our platform a whole cost calculation module that is based on real data from a database. So the input model gives us, let's say, the area and the number of stories, but then we can have a whole background calculation running that retrieves data like cost per floor area or cost per floor area for a specific material for the structure, for example, and then you can get actual data as outputs.
Okay, great. I will share the next video, and while I'm doing this, then we are introducing Aneta to tell a little bit about what we see here. So the next video is about analyzing what we have configured.
Yes. So as you could see, we created a building, and now we can analyze it also with a parametric tool. And so what you can see here is a live daylight analysis, which can perform daylight analysis for a given building with a given size, so height, depth, and the size of the openings, also the sizes of the buildings around it. You can see on the right-hand side a panel with parameters that can be changed. For example, the coverage of the site with a building, and the stories, the glazing percentage for each facade. And you can run analysis for any combination of those parameters very quickly. So this allows to compare different variants, different scenarios of the concept in a very early stage. You can see what is the expected daylight comfort inside, or for example, how much artificial lighting will be needed in one of the scenarios, or every scenario actually. You can also see how the building looks in the environment. So for example, is there some other buildings blocking it from the side, or what is the daylight entering inside of the building with the given surroundings. And I would like to just add that I think a huge benefit of the platform and this kind of tools is that by performing this kind of analysis early in the process, which is very easy with parametric tools, you can have much more information in an early stage, and based on that, make smart and more informed decisions.
Okay, great. I guess that the video is almost done. We'll just keep talking over it. So you showed here kind of like a daylight analysis for this building. Is this limited to only daylight, or could we also do other types of analysis?
No, of course it's not limited. There are a lot of possibilities. For example, we can make shading analysis with the environment, so to see if the new building will cast shades on the existing buildings, or the opposite. So if the existing buildings will shade the new buildings, or for example, thermal analysis to see what will be heat gains and heat losses for different shape scenarios. You can also think of a cost analysis to see for different sizes, for different facades, options, what is the estimated cost. And for example, structural analysis to optimize the shape of the building to for example, use the least necessary materials for the structure. So a lot of optimization possibilities.
Yeah, great. So we can get to know a lot about the building in a kind of an early stage. So I'm going to switch to the next video, which Ankur is going to explain, which will show you a little bit more about, let's say, the building skill, right? So I hope that this actually works, so that it doesn't give you a lot of loud sound. But Ankur, go ahead. I'll try to mute it in the meanwhile. Oh.
example shows like a modular building system, and we incorporated this in a custom configurator for a single family housing. And here you can see that total customization is possible based on what size of a room you need, or a kitchen you need, or whether you want to place a window in a certain wall or you want to remove it. There's a lot of possibilities in basically customizing other aspects of the design, for instance, kitchen, roofing, etc. It is also possible. It's basically a playful configurator for single families who potentially buys a plot in a township or a similar project, where you can basically provide the solution for different families to customize their own housing rather than building like similar structures. Or yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, maybe I will just put the last notes here. So I would like to thank our partners here, just in case for collaborating with us on this demo. But so they are actually the ones that, if you're interested in this system, so not the computational system, but the real building system, let's say, then you should definitely get in touch with them. But maybe a question to you, Ankur. So I guess that we've been looking with Nicoletta at, let's say, kind of like the urban scale, so the large scale when we're developing an area. So this is the house scale. So is this something you could use, like to do property development, real estate development? Could this be used in sales or something like that? Could you perhaps comment a little bit on this?
Yes, for instance, right now we see that if there is a large-scale property development, which is like a township, so you have different kind of plots, different kind of plot sizes. So essentially, you could basically sell each plot, but by also showing this custom tool where you can also basically design all the plots with this tool. Like you can incorporate it in your business model, basically.
Okay, great. Could this be extended to things like engineering and production as well?
Yes. So, for instance, this is just the design part of it, but we also through our platform we take into account industrialization and also production after submitting the specific design. Yeah,
great. Well, I see that already the time is flying like crazy, so that the time is almost up. Are there any questions from the audience? Is there anything you would like to ask one of us or anything? You can put it in the chat, or I don't know. Actually, we can actually include people here, but I don't see any questions in the chat. Okay, well then I guess that leaves me with a few concluding remarks before we close down this session. And by the way, we'll start. We'll stay here for a few minutes. That if you have any questions after the event, then we'll answer them. So I hope that we wanted to show you on 3 different levels. So let's say what you could do with like a platform like where you could yes, like configure, sell, engineer, produce buildings, let's say, and property on the urban scale, and analyze it in its context, and then even get it into, let's say, selling those individual buildings and houses and apartments, and and also engineering and producing them. And we really hope that in this way we can help with our digital knowledge and our digital tools, like the questions that are in our minds these days in property development, I guess, and in real estate development, to scale up, like our housing production and these kind of things. Well, I would like to thank the other speakers. So Ankur, Aneta, Nicoletta, thank you very much, and also all if you participated, thank you for your interest in us, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions on the chat, but you can always go to our website www.packhunt.io, and there you can find us. Okay, well, thank you all, and what I said, the session is over now, but we'll stay here for a few minutes. So if anybody has any questions, then feel free to ask them in the chat, and we will try to answer them. Thanks.